you said, if you focus on the foundations, right? Stay away from all those shiny objects. Work on the most important things, right? Like the people that are like into the hydrogen water and into the, the red light therapy, but they're not eating
I
fresh
know.
fruits and vegetables. They're not weight training. They're not getting good sleep. Like to me, those are like dial that in for your life before you add all that, because all that other stuff is like the 1%, right?
Welcome back to PCOS Unfiltered, where we ditch the one-size-fits-all advice. I'm Lindsay, nurse turned health coach, author of Healing Beyond the Diagnosis and Body Wisdom Guide. Here, I help you understand the messages behind your symptoms. Now, before we get into today's guest, I wanted to remind you all that the Healthy Ever After app is now live. It is your one-stop shop for our community, podcast resources, recipes, exclusive content, and when you join, you'll instantly receive my free Summer Sanity Guide. You can find the link to download on Apple or Android in the show notes. So today, my guest is Jen Brinsmade, and Jen is passionate about empowering the next generation. She is a wellness coach dedicated to helping teen girls and young women embrace and embody optimal mind and body health, resilience, and personal power. Starting her own wellness and personal growth journey at 19, she has transformed her life, allowing herself to cultivate deep self-awareness, vibrant health, and a purposeful connection to herself, to others, and nature. By adopting proactive health and wellness habits now to protect their mental and physical health, she believes teen girls and young women not only improve their current health and wellness, but also lay the groundwork for a thriving and fulfilling future. As a lifelong learner, Jen's approach is firmly rooted in science. Through her empathetic and firm coaching, she creates a safe, empowering environment where teen girls and young women can grow into the healthiest and most confident versions of themselves. As always, this podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. Please consult your healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, exercise, or treatment plan. Now go ahead and settle in, maybe get ready to take some notes, and let's dive in. Here is my conversation with Jen Brinsmade. Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome to Jen. Super excited to have you here and super excited for this conversation. You're doing something that I think is super, super important and needs to be heard. So let's kind of dive in and just start with a little bit about you, your story, and how you got into doing what you do.
Sure. I am Jen, like you said. My company is called Peace and Power Habits, and I am a wellness coach, and I work with teen girls and young women. And I was a fitness trainer before I had kids for 15 years. I've always been wellness. I just live and breathe it. But I've always worked with women. And about 2 years ago, actually on the yoga mat, I got this download. Something came to me, it was Peace and Power Habits. I'm like, that's interesting. I stopped, wrote it down because I had no idea what it was, but it sounded really cool. And just started questioning and asking and praying about it. And, what is Peace and Power Habits? And it really came to me that Peace and Power Habits was specifically teaching teen girls, like our next generation, teen girls, young women, women in their early 20s, the personal growth development tools, healthy habits that I've been living for over 30 years. Because I started my wellness journey when I was 19, and I've really been super consistent throughout all of these years. Obviously, I've learned other things and I've added, taken things away, but really the consistency around wellness and taking good care of my mind and body. And especially now, I feel like it is so needed with the mental health issue that we have with young girls anyway. And I just really felt like it will be impactful. It's going to be like, to me, it's my life's work that I will work with this generation as long as they'll listen to me. Maybe I'll be a grandma influencer. Who knows?
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. No, that's why I wanted to have you on. I think it is super important. And I've thought about trying to work with work with some of the younger ladies too, because like, especially for me, PCOS, we're seeing more and more cases younger and younger, and women are understanding, at younger ages what's happening to their bodies. And then, like you said, on top of it, you have the social media, you have all these other outside influences,
So many
contribute.
distractions
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
take us away really from listening. I think that I have created the eight pillars within Peace and Power Habits, and they're really just they're habits, right? And it's the connect part. Connect is connecting to yourself, connecting to others, connecting to nature, because we're spending so much time, and adults too. It's not just kids. Hours scrolling and looking outside of ourselves and not taking time to go inward and listening, because our body tells us lots of things. We just tend to just disregard it or focus on the distractions, and that voice is always there. It just gets quieter when we distract ourselves with other things outside of ourselves, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a big theme, for me too, is just listening to your body. And when we're
Mm,
so distracted and so much other, other things going on, we silence that. We don't listen. We don't stop. We don't,
it's true.
do what our body needs to do. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, your work is not necessarily PCOS specific, but again, I think so many girls out there. I mean, who knows who's listening? There might be some moms out there that this might apply to what's going on, with their girls. But the principles you teach are foundational for just a healthy mind and body.
Mhm.
So let's kind of dive into those 8 pillars some more. What makes them so relevant for women and young people living, with PCOS?
Well, like you said, they're foundational. And, again, so many shiny objects out there, right? And lots of people trying to distract you with what they're selling, what they're trying to, their workouts, these young 20-year-olds trying to tell people how to work out, when I'm like, you haven't lived a lot of years, how do you know that, right? And then there's no, disrespect, but I do think there's a lot to be said from living your life and having the experience and the wisdom as you get older. And you can't make that up. That has to just happen as you age.
Mhm.
And so, the pillars really are the foundation, in my opinion, of a well human, right? Hydration, eating whole foods, not eating a lot of sugar, and all of in the United States, we have a terrible problem with obesity and overweight because of the amount of packaged foods that we're eating, things that are not even, I just can't, it's hard to call them food, right? They
I
may
was just gonna say
taste
the same
good,
thing.
they may satisfy your hunger, but they aren't feeding your cells and helping you grow your hormones, helping you grow what a healthy body is, right? So there's that. There's the connection piece, like I talked about, the restorative piece. It's, not just getting good sleep, which is a struggle for so many people, but it's also sitting in silence, right? Being quiet, being still. To me, that's restoration. It doesn't have to be, zonking out and being asleep so much. It's just that spending time in peace, away from your devices. If you can be outside in nature, just listening to the birds, allowing your body to feel the sun, getting the vitamin D from the sun, absorbing, the negative ions with grounding when you have your feet in the grass or on the sand. I mean, there's just so many, those are all, to me, it's very simple. What I teach doesn't mean it's easy, but it's simple. And I feel like I've been told this for many years of my life, that you just have a way of taking something that seems so overwhelming and just simplifying it. And maybe it's just because I'm simple-minded. I don't know, but it works, right? And I mean, it works for talking to teenagers and young women. Like, they hang on every word. I have a teen empowerment group that I host at my home once a month, and they're just the questions after questions. And they, not that I believe that I know everything, but I live the life, right? I walk the walk. That's just
Yeah.
who I am. Like if someone said, what was it? WWJD. It's what would Jen do when it comes to health? And it's just because it's just something that it is a passion of mine because I feel like we all get one body and one mind, and it is our job to take the best care of it as we possibly can. And the younger we learn and establish these habits, to me, your life unfolds in a very different way. I mean, I'll be 56 this month. I can't believe that. And, I've gone through all the cycles, menopause. I'm post-menopause now. Perimenopause, menopause was not terrible for me. Is that genetic? Maybe a little bit, but I do believe that, I started lifting weights when I was 19 and I really never stopped. So I do think that there are these habits that I've lived that I teach really are, they will significantly impact, especially girls and women with PCOS. Because I just think, again, it's just learning how to naturally balance your hormones as best as you can. And all those habits do make a huge difference. And I know you as a health coach, I'm sure you teach that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's where we definitely align because same thing for me. I try to keep it simple. I try to go back to basically what our ancestors did, what we used to do before all of the hustle and bustle of everything and the technology and all these other things going on. When people come to me and they're like, well, I've tried this diet and this thing and do eat this, don't eat that, like because there's so much going on. I'm like, it shouldn't be that complicated,
Yeah.
And so same, yeah, it's just like let's simplify it,
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
when you simplify it, Lindsay, I feel like it just gives a person a chance to exhale. Because
Exactly.
again, if you are on social media, I mean, I don't spend a lot of time on it. I create, I don't consume so much. And maybe it's just because I'm older and my brain did not get addicted at a young age, but I see it as a gift. I mean, listen, the minute I go on it, I can easily, oh, I gotta save this. I gotta learn
Yeah.
this. I mean, it's most of it's health and wellness just because that's what I interact with.
Yeah.
But again, fill your mind up with so much stuff and then you're like, what do I do? Right?
Yeah.
And like you said, if you focus on the foundations, right? Stay away from all those shiny objects. Work on the most important things, right? Like the people that are like into the hydrogen water and into the red light therapy, but they're not eating
I
fresh
know.
fruits and vegetables. They're not weight training. They're not getting good sleep. Like to me, those are like dial that in for your life before you add all that, because all that other stuff is like the 1%, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my feeling is, and what I've experienced through my work with young girls and teenagers and young women, is that you get to them earlier. They have a lot less story that they tell themselves, right? We all do it, but they have less of, like you said, the diets and all these extra things, and they just want to learn the foundations, right? What's simple. And then, and also teaching them. Like I just taught this group, my last group, about sugar, and we did a visual. And so I asked them, give me your top 3 favorite drinks that you get at store, like the Starbucks of the world, or because they typically, most of them, their cars drive to Starbucks without them even trying. They know the direction. So they gave me 3 drinks,
Yeah.
and I shared with them, and I'm sure you know this, but I shared with them, consider, because it can be confusing when you measure food in grams, consider teaspoons. So for every gram or for every teaspoon is 4 grams of sugar. So if your favorite drink has, 40 grams of sugar in it, that's 10 teaspoons. And so I had 3 glasses and we counted. And then the last one was, I think what's it? Swig. Do you know the Swig drinks?
No,
They
no.
are, I think I'm saying it correctly. It's huge on TikTok. These Mormon moms who, they don't drink alcohol, they don't drink caffeine, but they
Yes.
have these drinks that are laden with sugar,
Yeah.
like ridiculous.
Yeah.
85 to 100 grams of sugar per drink.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So I started measuring and we got up to like, and they're like, stop, Miss Jen, stop. We were like 20, 21, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay. And
Oh,
all the moms reached out to me like, whatever you did impacted my daughter. She told me she is not drinking those drinks anymore. So, I
oh
got
my
to them.
God.
We'll
Yes.
see. We're meeting again on Sunday. We're going to follow up on that one. But, again, it's just simplifying it, helping them understand the simplicity of how to take care of yourself. Because if you don't, like, I mean, what's going to happen as you age?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so many negative effects to not taking care of yourself as young as you possibly can, right? They think they'll just catch up when they get older, but it's habits. Habits are hard to break. Those neural pathways have deep grooves in them based on what you've chosen to do day after day, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so the earlier I can breathe my wisdom into them, the better.
I love that. And yeah, I mean, because I mean, I was even in my 20s, thinking you're invincible, thinking nothing's gonna happen to me, like I'm in great shape, I'm healthy, because my weight is maybe fine or whatever. And you learn your
Yeah,
body changes, you learn, like, and even looking back, some of those signs where like my body was trying to tell me something and I didn't listen. And
right.
what I thought was like healthy was not indeed healthy. So I love that you're showing them, especially with the visual too. Like that's,
Yes.
that's
Wake them
awesome.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
Little fear factor. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So since we're kind of talking about drinks, hydration is one of your pillars,
Mm.
and it is something that often gets overlooked, especially in women with PCOS as well. So why do you feel like that matters so much as a foundation, especially when it comes to hormones?
Well, again, it's something that most people don't do well, right? They oftentimes drink when they feel thirsty, which we know is already too late. And starting your day with even a glass of water, adding some electrolytes, the magnesium, the calcium, right? The potassium, how important that is to get into our cells in order for our hormones to balance, right? In order for our liver to function properly, to be able to filter out the hormones that can be imbalanced. And, again, let's just talk about skin and, our entire body. We're 70% or so of water, and it's up to us to add that into our body in order to have everything function properly. And so again, it's just teaching those foundational habits in order for us to be able to live the life that feels a little bit more healthier than not, right?
Right.
But starting with water in the morning, like I teach my girls that are in my group, and then I also have an online group. But just if you can create this habit, like as soon as you get up in the morning, have a glass of water. I just, there's so many electrolytes out there. I just say quarter teaspoon of good salt, right? Salt that is clean salt that doesn't have, there have been a lot of salts
Yeah.
that they've found heavy metals in them, but a
Yeah.
clean salt. I
Yeah.
use Malden salt, and a quarter of a teaspoon in water, drink it. Again, it lowers your cortisol in the
Mhm.
morning because your cortisol is the highest when you first wake up. So lowering that cortisol and just being able to flood the body in order to have the hormones have a better chance of balancing out.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so as we kind of already mentioned, there's a lot of conflicting nutrition advice out there. And some targets women with PCOS, some might even be targeting some of the girls that you work with. So how does your approach to this pillar cut through the noise in a way that actually feels sustainable?
It's simplicity. It's really that. It's focus on what the macronutrients are, right? Your carbs, your protein, your fat. I mean, and now today they're really making it obvious that we kind of had it all wrong when it was high carb, low fat, right? We've learned that.
Yeah.
So now, they're focusing on protein, right? A lot more protein than we ever thought that we needed, up to a gram plus per pound of ideal body weight. And learning what that looks like in your meals, learning how to, what carbohydrates are and why they're important for the body. Because what my experience has been is a lot of teenagers, teen girls, they're afraid of carbs. And so we get a chance to have those conversations about what is your fear, right? What do you believe a carb to be? And yes, a carb like from a drink, right? Drinking your sugar is the worst thing you could possibly do for your body. So learning how to eat in order to have the proper nutrients for everything to function properly. And protein is essential. Carbohydrates are essential, and so is fat. And when you learn how to eat in a simple way, and learn, like looking at a plate and learning that, okay, if I have a portion, let's just talk about carbs and protein, right? If I know I'm going to have, let's say, 3/4 of a cup of chicken, then I'm going to balance that out with the carbs, the starchy carbs, whether it's potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, even a piece of bread. Then looking at the rest of your carbs being your fruits and vegetables, right? The vegetables, especially vegetables that are lower in sugar, you can pretty much eat as much as you want. Your body's going to say, I cannot overconsume that because there's so much fiber in it, right? But looking at the plate that way, it's really simple, right? I'm a huge proponent for breakfast. So this is something I've taught just because there's such a great way to get so much nutrition is drinking your breakfast, having a protein smoothie for breakfast, because you can throw in, your frozen blueberries, your psyllium husk for fiber, I put frozen broccoli and frozen cauliflower and everybody says, ooh, disgusting, but you cannot taste it. Believe it or not, you cannot taste it. So, I mean, think about that. How does that compare to, and then, you've got your protein, whether it's a whey protein, a water washed soy protein, another type of plant protein. You're getting that protein in your body that is very hard to get if you're trying to get in, let's just say, 30 to 40 grams of protein. That's hard to do. It's hard to do, especially for breakfast.
Yeah.
One egg is only 6 to 7 grams of protein. Yeah. A lot of times people don't realize that. You need to eat a lot of eggs for breakfast. It's hard.
No, I know. I agree. Yeah. And I mean, and that's the thing too, is that sometimes when you just open your eyes to that and like just becoming more aware, just for even a few days, because I don't want to say because I feel like we can get obsessed sometimes with tracking all of that. And
Yes.
I try to stay away from all that because to me,
too.
that's just adding more stress. But if you just start by like becoming more aware, so maybe you do track it for a couple days just to really kind of see where you are and, where you need to be. But I think I love what you just said, where you can kind of, eyeball it, learn to eyeball it and still get, what you need. And then, drinking your smoothies, your protein smoothies.
And maybe starting with, I also have a group that I started called Embodiment Strong, and it's specifically for women. It's a 6-week program to help women get strength training, right? It's not whether you're going into the gym, whether you're home, it's vital. And there's so many women that are looking to strength train and they're just still, again, they're afraid to do it. So, I've taught them the simplicity of portion control and this is just for me, I've never counted my calories. It's more about knowing how much protein I'm getting and then filling it in with vegetables and then adding some healthy fat. That is just, to me, it's super simple. Salads, smoothies, stir fries, they're all simple ways to just get lots of the micronutrients from fruits and vegetables too. That is something that is significantly low for most people. That 7 to 12 cups of a variety of fruits and vegetables. And then if you're an active person, that's up to 20. Like, it's really hard to do.
It is. It
Yeah.
actually is.
So,
Yeah.
knowing that those need to be the majority of what we're consuming, and what does that look like, right? And then, if you don't really know, what is 6 ounces of protein? I created a protein cheat sheet for both my girls and the women group, but they, grab a scale if you have one, or an inexpensive food scale, and just start measuring it to go, oh, okay, I see 4 ounces is about the size of the palm of my hand. Okay, over time, then you just eye it. It doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
It does not have to be perfect. And I think that that's something that I teach. It is not about perfection. It's about progress, and not looking back and feeling badly because that's not the way I used to eat. No, moving forward. Now you know. You can't unknow what you know, right?
Yeah.
Moving forward, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I cook that way too. Like, I try to, like, I love cooking, but I love simple
Me too.
recipes, ones that don't have a whole lot of ingredients, and you can just use, spices and some salt and pepper or whatever to just flavor it. Because again, it shouldn't be that complicated.
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
everyone's busy, and it's very difficult.
Mhm.
No one really wants to spend, especially during the week. If you're a super organized person, you've meal prepped, and it's super seamless. That is not me. I meal prep as far as I clean and cut up all my fruits and vegetables, not my fruits, so my vegetables. They're in silicone bags or glass containers, and I'll make a bunch of chicken and a big thing of salmon, and that's it. Because when my husband travels, it's a joke, but my daughter's like, okay, mommy, we're having salmon, sweet potato, and steamed broccoli tonight. Like, you're right. How'd you guess? Because it's just simple, and it's healthy, and it's balanced, right? So,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
it tastes good. And my
Yeah.
husband doesn't like salmon, doesn't like cooked salmon.
Oh my gosh.
The minute he leaves, I'm like, unless it's a sushi restaurant. Yeah. So, but I do think that that's really, again, it is, if you come back to the simplicity of eating and moving and hydrating, all of the pillars there, it really is simple. And just focusing on what's most important for me. What's the one habit that I'm going to focus on and get really good and consistent at it, and then add, and that's really, to me, it doesn't have to be all of the pillars. It's more of, what do I need most for myself right now, and sitting in stillness to listen to your body. What do I need? And then move forward from that.
Yeah.
That was such an amazing conversation with Jen. I'll be sure to link everything in the show notes if you'd like to connect with her. Now, if you're enjoying the podcast, come join us inside the Healthy Ever After app. It's where we continue the conversation with community, recipes, resources, and exclusive content. Plus, you'll get my free summer sanity guide just for joining. The link is in the show notes for you. And if you loved this episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because healing doesn't come from doing more. It comes from understanding better. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you on the next episode of PCOS Unfiltered. Nourish, heal, thrive.